Good afternoon, everybody. This is your podcast, Couch Crunch. You have two co-hosts on this episode. My name's Nick. I have my co-host Dante. Say hello, Don.
Hey, it's Don here. How's everybody doing? Hope you had a good New Year's.
Hey.
We touched on a couple of subjects this episode, not too much, but should be good.
Yep. Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope everybody had a great Christmas and New Year's as well. This episode is going to be just going off two topics: games that we would want to see make a comeback, and how games evoluted. I'm guessing like how it was, evolved over the years from the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s, and so on. Don, you want to kind of elaborate on that first?
Oh, yeah. So, starting from the 90s or even like the 80s, just the simple thing of the VR set, for example, how back in the 80s they had these headsets that were very similar to what we have now with the VR headsets. Like Under the Sea is one of them, and let's see, there's actually a simulation for NASA they made back in 1985 where it's called Astronaut Ice Cream, where it's basically like a simulation of them in space, and you can build spaceships or repair spacecrafts up in space. But it also be like an alien trying to attack you at the same time. But the way the headsets are, it's very similar to how the VR headsets are now. And I just found it very interesting how it evolved over time.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting because I didn't even know that VR headsets actually evolved from that, because the only ones I know it's like the more recent ones, the PlayStation VR, because before the PlayStation VR I had no idea. Like, I know VR was a thing, it's always been a thing right before we were ever thought of, but it wasn't popularized until mainly, as far as I'm aware, it wasn't popularized until at least like the PlayStation VR, in my opinion, because that was the first one I ever owned. I mean, I know Oculus always was there for PC and other platforms, its own platform. But yeah, that's interesting though, because I never knew that.
Yeah, I think for the 2010s, I think Oculus really put it back on the map from this current generation, from what I know of, and then it went from the Oculus to the PlayStation, like you said. It's just the same thing now.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like the idea of it. Like, I wonder why they stopped though. Like back in the 80s and 90s, I guess it was like a test run for it, but it's like I guess it died off along with the culture of the arcade machine and everything, and maybe it got expensive to make over time.
Right.
I'm seeing like they had simulators for skiing and just like different ordinary things, like Sundress is like this one called Sundress VR, where you have like a simulator on a beach or whatever, and they even had like gloves to come along with it and everything. So it's kind of advanced for its time. But for some reason, like in the 2000s, they kind of cut it off.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting though, because the main thing I find interesting is the gloves, because I can't picture having actual gloves too. I mean, it already feels, I mean, they replaced the gloves with the controllers, obviously the motion controllers, which should be a lot better, but I'm curious on how did the gloves perform the same way? Like, why did they discontinue the gloves though,
Right, that's what I'm thinking, because you think that'd be a really important aspect to the VR experience, being able to really still immerse inside the game with those gloves. They should try to find a way to incorporate that. I'm sure they probably do have today like a similar glove technology, but it's not as popular as it was back then, though.
Right. All right. Well, that's an interesting topic. You have anything else that you think that evolved over the years as far as gaming?
Oh yeah. So it's like back then they used to have these things called Tamagotchis. They used to be like these little keychain looking things. I'm sure if you're like a '90s kid or early 2000s kid, you probably came across it one time in your life.
Yeah, I,
Like
I remember I remember growing up, and I used to see them in actually like not just game stores, but like regular like models or something like that. Like it's over the counter. You can kind of just like buy it from like a little pouch. It's like a little packet thing that you can buy from.
right, yeah, they usually were like egg shaped little devices with like pixels of characters or animals that you take care of, and you get to feed them and all that.
Right,
But
right.
I just think it's interesting because they evolved from that to like something like, for example, like with the Nintendo DS in the early 2000s with Nintendo, where you can take care of the dog through your DS.
Yeah, the
And
Nintendogs. It did came. I don't know as far as evoluting, like how it like evoluted like throughout the years. Um, because I think Nintendogs goes way back, right? I'm not sure when, but the first one I played was for Nintendo DS Lite. When that came out, that was a long. I
right,
guess that was like the early 2005 era around there. I
right,
mean it was a great game. I mean for its time, I had a lot of fun, especially when I didn't grow up with animals and stuff like that. So it was pretty fun to take care of a dog digitally.
yeah, like for somebody they couldn't really afford an actual pet, yeah, that's like a good alternative to have a digital animal to take care of. I just sound fascinating because even like back then, and then like those baby dogs that you used to get take care of, and I feel like it took that same theme and stuff, they just turned it digital and evolved from there. And like
mm,
something like the Gerber baby and all that.
mm. That's it's basically like the same thing as The Sims, right? Like like how The Sims evolved over the years.
Yeah, right, exactly. I feel like it went from like Nintendo and then it went to the Sims, came out around the same time, and taking care of a person. At that point, you becoming your own simulation of yourself or customization, kind of similar to Neopets as well. Kind of the same stick of
Mm.
command customizing your own avatar online and interacting with people through
So
the PC.
so basically, just
Yeah,
having to take care of the actual, pet object. I'm not sure what, like, how it evolved over the years is basically having to take care of something, or just I don't know, having to see how it evolved from that.
right. Just having like that companion of a pet that you're not really able to have in real life. I guess that's what's like advertised towards that kind of audience that can't really afford a pet or maybe allergic to whatever. It's like a alternative to the
Mm.
uh, kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. All right.
And even to now it went from like the Sims in the early 2000s to like a game called INBU, where you
Yeah.
create, you customize your own characters that look like yourself and do like a PC simulation chat, a chat room where you interact with people online.
And what's that? Is in there another one too? VR chat? Is that another one? Or
So yeah, that's coming to mind nowadays, like the 2010s, where they made VR chat now, where you can pretty much become any character that you want, any person, celebrity, anything, in a VR chat where you interact with people as well. And it's like we're getting closer and closer to like a world of Ready Player One. I don't know if anybody watched that movie that
yeah.
recently came out the past couple of years.
That's funny though, because that's basically what it's. You're basically gonna be able to meet those people. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's funny, man. That's funny. All right, that's interesting. You have anything else as far as what you think it's how's game evoluted over the years?
Well, yeah, I wanted to tap into the subject of how games is evolving. It could start from like an app game into like a AAA plat game or devolving like a game that used to come out. It used to be a hit back in the PlayStation era, like PS1 and PS2 era, but then it devolved over time. Like for example, like Grand Theft Auto as a recent came out with a trilogy game where they have San Andreas, Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto 3. You know, it originally came out. All three of those games came out for the PS2, and they were great. Of course, they're iconic at this point. But throughout the years, I know it's like they started to devolve into like just add games you can play on the phone, and it just like devalued the game altogether. Just cash grab off the franchise that it's known for. But they brought it back. It's still held up to that quality of the mobile games. That's why it's kind of like controversial why they just pushed it out. I don't know what's going on with Rockstar right now, as far as the development for new games, but it seemed like a tragedy when they put out that trilogy game. It's pretty bad. It had so many glitches and it just didn't seem finished or polished how they was advertising it to be. And I feel like that's a really good example of a game being devolved from where it initially was of the quality it had.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that topic with GTA though. Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
because it's the same. Because GTA is known to be an iconic franchise that really put Rockstar on the map. So
Right.
then for them to just turn around and
Right.
devalue it like that, it's a shame. But
All right. All right. Um. What I wanted to do was kind of tackle some of the games that I would like to see personally come make a comeback. And I know one of my co-hosts probably would agree with this topic, but I would like to see Infamous come back. I mean, honestly, that's such a great title, man. Part two ended with Delson. I'm not sure if everybody got a chance to play that game. I'm sure they have. It's been out for a very long time. Um, what I want to see come back is I do want to see Delson come back because obviously, the first one, I believe the first, yes, the infamous Alex, I believe is his name. No, Alex Mercer is. I'm sorry, I'm getting it confused. Alex Mercer, and that Alex Mercer is actually from Prototype, right? I might be getting the name mixed up. If I am, forgive me. But part
I
one,
believe his name was Cole.
Cole McGrath. There you go. Yeah, Alex Mercer. I was thinking about Prototype because it kind of. I mean, they're not similar, but as far as running around the city and superpowers, that's the part that's comparable. But Cole passed away in the first one, so that's why I'm saying in the second one it ended pretty good with Delson. So I would like to see Delson come back and I don't know, talk about a different story, a different take on something that happened. Because what was a big letdown was the DLC Paper Trials. You know what I mean? Me and my cousins, we took it took a while because that DLC was actually split up into sections. Like you had to wait like a certain amount of time for the next part of the DLC to come out, and we were thinking that you were gonna get this like. Now, mind you, this DLC wasn't like an add-on towards. It wasn't an add-on towards like the story or anything. It was just like a DLC, little fun activity thing that you could do, and it was it was a character in there, and she had like a paper mask bunny thing. It was like a mask, but her powers was paper, literally paper, and I thought that was very interesting. As far as this girl having paper powers, you had to do a bunch of tasks to achieve, to leading up to like her whatever. I'm not sure. I forgot what was the plot to it, but everybody thought you were gonna get the paper power because it actually looked pretty damn cool. It looked like it looked really awesome and badass to have. And it took a very long time. It wasn't easy. And then towards the end of the DLC, you didn't get no powers. You got like a little mask or something, which was stupid. So, not to go on a tangent, but yeah, I just basically it was a great ending. That was a side gig. That was like the side DLC. But I would just like to see Delson. I don't know. Um, I'm guessing see him in a different direction. Like if somebody comes, hey, another bad guy tries to come around and tries to go against him or something. I'm not sure, but I would like to see him come back. Like that's a comeback I would love to see happen again. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah. The only thing is, I think I heard rumors around the time that that game didn't really sell well. I think that's probably why they never franchised, as far as I know.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was actually not selling well. It did pretty well though, as far as I didn't pay attention to the sell records at the time. I just knew the game was great. That was the one of the first games for PS4 when it first released. So, um, that's shocking to hear. That sucks. But I would like to see it, be reborn again. I mean, for PS5 at least or PS6, something in the future. I know I'm, taking it. That's like a big stretch, but definitely I would like to see that come back. Another game I would like to see come back. I think I talked about it on the last episode with Sly Cooper. You know, um, I was a big fan of Sly Cooper. I played 1, 2, and 3. I think there was a fourth one, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong.
Yes,
there was a fourth one, right?
yeah, but it's when Sucker Punch sold off Sly Cooper to a different company.
Right.
But
that that sucks. Um, um, but I would like to see him come back and remake the whole franchise if you can. I mean, like I said, I was a big Sly Cooper fan. I grew up on PS2 days and PS1, but for PS2 era, that was like Sly Cooper was like the best, man. And they definitely didn't I mean the story went on for like a good minute, and they pretty much wrapped up the series. You know what I mean? They did it well, but I don't know. I would like to see it come back though. I mean, it was such a great game. What do you?
Oh yeah, I love the franchise.
Right. Right. I mean, what would you like to see? Which one? Like, what would you like to see come back in your opinion? Like, what are your games?
One of my games would be Shinobi. It's an old game that came out back in the early 2000s on the PS2. It's one of those. It's kind of similar to Ninja Gaiden in a way. It's like you play as a shinobi and you go through like a really dark realm of like killing demons and whatever. It's like one of those hard to play games with like platforming and just hack and slash kind of games. That definitely would like to see that franchise come back. Shinobi, I really think in that era of like people wanting more challenging games for that to come back and shine. Because I think that would really probably make a good comeback if they were to bring that back.
I actually never played Shinobi. Was it good?
Oh yeah, I love that, but I never got to finish it at the time because I was like real young when I was playing it.
Yeah, it was a really old game, but it was. I know it was hard though, right? Like I heard it was hard.
Oh yeah, it was really hard. It was known as being hard. Like I said, it's like you could compare it to a Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
It's like within that realm of gaming.
Yeah, Ninja. I rebought the collection not too long ago, and that first one, I was like, yeah, I'm not beating this. I'm not. It was that bad, man. It's like the controls are so stiff. Um, I was literally fighting. I didn't even get far either. I was like on the horse guy on the bridge. Like he was like super difficult. Like, and the guy you fight in the dojo too. It was like man, this game is hard. And mind you, I beat how many Dark Souls? Not to brag, but I beat Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, and you know, just tackling those games. You're like, man, I think I can play any game. Because those are like the most hardest games in the world. There's definitely probably harder games out there, but and I might be exaggerating a lot actually, but definitely, I thought I was gonna be able to play that game. It was like, dude, this game is hard, and it's only hard because of the controls were so like, it's an old game, so um, but
Yeah, I heard about that with the remaster of the Ninja Gaiden didn't really turn out so well because it didn't really translate to the current controls. And like you were saying, a lot of people were saying like the controls were stiff and a lot of the level design wasn't as to par to where it was supposed to be as far as the remaster standards. So they probably dropped the ball on that one.
right,
That's a good example of how not to bring back a game, you know?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
definitely a good couple of examples of that.
yeah, that's that. Yeah, I agree with you on that because at least if you're gonna bring back the game, at least make it a little more easier for people to play those games. I get the intentions. The intentions was, to bring back the Ninja Gaiden series because it's an old series. It's been around since the '80s. Because if you're not knowing that Ninja Gaiden goes way back to like the Sega days. Whatchamacallit. But at least if you were gonna bring back the series, I don't know, make the controls a little more playable. You know what I mean? For people that have never played the series, especially it's gonna be a little more difficult for people not. I mean, just jumping into it and be like, oh man, I don't even like this because the controls are so like wonky. The camera angle, uh, when you're moving him in the directions, he's like super stiff. It's like I can't like the fighting styles. Like you have to move him towards that direction to fight. It's it's hard to explain, but it's definitely it's a hard game to play, man. Um, Another game I would like to see come back is Rayman. Definitely.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Rayman.
yeah, I've been a Rayman fan for a very long time. I think the very first Rayman I played was probably there was a lot more before that, but I played Rayman Rush. I mean, yeah, Rush. Um, and that was a good racing game. It was like a racing game, but it was fun, like super fun. Um, then obviously I played a few more other Raymans. I'm not sure which ones because my memory of Rayman, but Rayman Legends was great, and then I think Rayman Legends 2 was also great. I don't know. I'd like to see Rayman make another sequel. I mean, most people probably like I can live without Rayman. Um, but it was it's I want to see that come back with another part 3. So how about you?
Oh yeah, but they did technically they did bring it back in like the 2010s with the I forget which one that's called where you can play with friends like a co-op. I believe we played it like it came out for like all systems the Rayman game. What's that one called? It was
Right, that's a little more recent. I might have to take that one back. I feel like this
yeah.
one is yeah, this one's a lot more recent. I'm sorry, guys. Um, I think another one I had in my head. I was like, how about Def Jam? That's a good one, right?
Oh yeah, you know what? It's funny because it's been rumors throughout the past couple of years that they're trying to bring that back too.
Yeah, but you got to bring
Just
back
trying to.
fight. But you got to bring back Fight for New York. Like that was like the best one.
No, yeah, that is just a monument in time.
Right.
That's at the peak of Def Jam era.
I feel like if our one of our co-hosts Alex was here, he would be like, "Yo, remember Suspect? Yes, I'm aware of Suspect. He's just a regular blank character." That's like is one of his favorite characters in the game. Um, but
But
yeah, I mean,
bring back Def Jam now, it'd be like a bunch of drugged out rappers and just people popping pills and
yeah, it'll be
and
crazy.
Yeah, people with face tats on their face, and it just be a mess.
I mean, I would like to see some of the new rappers on it.
Yeah, that
Why not?
get up
I
your
mean,
sleeve,
I
SoundCloud
like to
rappers.
see Kendrick. I like to see Cole. Why not?
Oh yeah, you seeing like the good quality rappers on there. You have the trashy SoundCloud rappers. Yeah, that got to be fun. Play Kendrick being up Little Pump or something like that.
That's funny. Um, Jack. I mean, the next one I got in mind too. I was like, man, Jack and Daxter too. That would be great. They need to bring that back, man. I mean, I think the last one I played was Jack 3. Didn't they make a fourth one, right? They made a fourth one?
Not that I know of. I know they had a racing car game for Jack and Dexter at one point.
No, we don't need a racing car game. We need the regular Jack and Daxter back. Like that. Like three was my favorite. But 2 was really great too. But 3 was my favorite though. Like
Oh yeah, that franchise was like really good.
it was so good. Like it definitely needs to be remade again. Um, and what was the most interest? I could never figure out. Could never figure out what the hell is Daxter. Like what the hell is he?
I don't know. It kind of looks like a meerkat or
Yeah.
something. That's
like
what I
it,
always thought he was.
like I'm like what? Um, but as far as the last Jack game I played, it was probably 3. And the reason why that one was my favorite is because I just love like you get the like isn't isn't that's the one with the dark cloud, right? That's not Jack 2, right? That's Jack 3. Like the dark version of Jack.
Oh, when it turns evil, right?
Yeah, that's Jack 3, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
3. That's 3. But that was like my favorite thing about that. I love when I mean, because you get to do the same thing in 2. Like you used to hop on rides, walk around the city. Um,
Yeah.
the story was great. It's always, I don't know, man. I really would like to see that come back.
Yeah, what's interesting about that too is if you really pay attention to that with the evil aspect, that's kind of like a predecessor to Infamous, what they were trying to do in Infamous, kind of like that duality of you being able to play as a good version of the character or bad. I feel like that was like that early test run of developing that kind of the karma aspect of it. Now that
Yeah,
I think
I
about
agree.
it, looking back on it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Um, uh, Now I'm not really the biggest Pokemon fan. Um, so I'm sorry guys if that comes off in a certain way. Um, but if I had to pick one Pokemon game I would like to see come back is Pokemon Stadium, the first one. Oh my god, it was so much fun, Don. Like it was. I gotta tell you, like that took up a lot of like probably like 2 or 3 years of my life straight because I played that for a very long time on the Nintendo 64. It was so fun, so fun.
Wow.
That was probably like the only Pokemon game I actually really liked. And then I mean, obviously I love the show, but that was and the movie, the first movie, all the old OGs. But basically everything after that, I was like, I'm not really a Pokemon fan. So, but that was like the only one I would like to see. Like if they could remake that one, yeah, that was a good one. You never played that one?
Oh no, I never played any Pokemon game. Yeah, as hard as that's to believe, as how every how it's like so many different versions of it everywhere. I never really got into Pokemon, but
All right.
yeah, I want to sit down and play one day. Definitely.
Yeah, you definitely should. And if you can get a hand on a Nintendo 64, play that one. Like that one was so fun, man.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
and another one was Splatterhouse. Now I don't know if you're familiar with that, but Splatterhouse is basically like a hack and slash. Well, it is a hack and slash, but it's basically like an old To know it's based off the old game. Splatterhouse. Obviously, it's from like I think the 80s. I'm not mistaken. It's like an old one. He's basically like a
Mm.
serial killer that's like that likes to like kill things and stuff like that, like killing monsters and shit. But it's interesting because it was like super fun. Like it was like super fun to play the first one. Um, the one that I guess they made a remade, right? It's not a remake. It's they made one in 2010 for the Xbox 360. That was a really good game, man. Like it was just yeah. I mean I just like killing shit. So definitely it was such a fun game to play. I would like to see a part two to that one. Like I would like to see that come back. Um, I guess I'm not sure if it did well as far as sales. I'm not sure how it did, but it definitely I would like to see that come back. Um, and one more thing I actually had was Heavenly Swords. Now,
Ooh.
yeah, this was actually the first introduction game for PS3. We all aware of that. Now, what was interesting about that game was no one knew what the hell motion, like the motion on the controller was. I didn't know what that was because obviously I was so used to playing PS2 and there was no motion. It was just connected to the console. But I remember there was one part in the game when I was playing it was that when you had to shoot the arrow, you had the motion control the arrow and then hit the actual enemy with it. But I remember messing up so many times on it. I was like, wait, I don't understand. Like why is it not I'm not hitting the enemy. It's just flying over the enemy. And then when I moved my hand, it went down with it on the next attempt. I was like, "Oh, it's motion controlled." That was interesting.
Okay.
So that was like one of the first games I actually brought to the console. I'm guessing PlayStation. Yeah, I could be wrong, but that was the first one I was introduced to with motion controls, and that was interesting. That was really cool. As far as the story, I mean, I don't remember beating it. I think I did, but it was a very long time ago. But it was a really good game. Like she needs a sequel. Like I would like to see her come back. Like she was said that was a really good game, man. And obviously it's comparable to God of War because obviously her swords are sort of the same things as Kratos' swords. So what
Right.
more?
I was just about to say a lot of comparables to God of War with Heavenly Sword is like the woman version of Kratos.
Right. I mean, what's there not to like a woman version of the man I idolized like growing up. He was like literally the first one of the first games playing for like the PS2. Like that is my icon. Like I love him so much. Um, but she definitely I would like to see her come back, make it come back. Definitely.
Oh yeah, that'd be really nice.
Yeah.
Really, especially being a part of the PlayStation franchise. I wonder why they stopped with that franchise. I don't
Yeah.
know. I haven't heard
I'm
anything
not
about
sure. I'm not even sure what developer made the game. But if you can if someone can like if someone can pick it up, that would be great, man. Like just pick up the project or something, try to make it happen again. That would be great. Shit, that was such a great game, man.
definitely. A game also want to see come back is Shadow the Hedgehog game. It came out for the GameCube originally, and I believe the PS2. And it's basically Sonic game, but a bit edgy. Shadow. You basically going around the city with Shadow with like two Uzis, and you're kind of causing mayhem in a Sonic format, of course.
Right.
And I think that would kind of go viral if they were to bring something like that, up the graphics and everything with on the Switch or something like that. I think that would actually take off because he's like the ultimate edge lord of the Sonic universe, and to see the memes that will come out of that too. I think it would actually do well if it would.
I remember playing the game too, and I liked it. I liked it. I know it didn't get like a lot of likes though. That a lot of people didn't really like it too much. But I liked it. You know, it was you was basically just shooting monsters and stuff. Like he has guns. Like come on now.
Yeah, there's two Uzis called the Mayhem. It's kind
Right.
of crazy
Like
for a Sonic game.
yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing another one of those come back, you know.
Yeah, I
Um
think that would be like real interesting for the Sonic franchise to mix things up.
right. How about another game? I mean, you have any other games that you would like to see come back?
Oh, also Kirby, the Kirby battle. Also, let me make sure I got this name right. It's basically like this other game that came out for the GameCube as well, where you ride on like these hovercrafts, and it's kind of like a racing game slash battle game where you can like pick different variations of Kirby, and you go into like a battle arena, and you kind of just like Beyblade this your character against this other character by just like doing the ability that Kirby can do, just absorb different powers and use it against the enemy. It's kind of similar to Mario Kart, I would say, but it's like sounded way more interesting and fun to play because it's like different. But I would
Mm.
like to see that come back, Kirby.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't played a Kirby game since I probably when the Switch came out, right? Like I think one of the Kirby games that came on there. I don't remember which one it was called, but yeah, I mean that was fun. It wasn't a bad Kirby game,
Oh
you know.
yeah.
I haven't played it one. I would like to see another one come back like that. Like you said, Kirby Battle. What was that again? I'm sorry.
I believe it's called the Kirby Battle. I'm looking up the name now.
Gotcha.
It's like yeah, it's like really it stood out during the time of early 2000s when it came out. It was
Right.
like a racing game. It was a racing slash battle game.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, that's like definitely another one I would want to see come back. And that around that time too, they didn't really have like online like that. And for them to bring it back, I think it would be bring a really interesting aspect to put it online because that was kind of really crazy. You know, not seeing how big the Mario franchise is, if they would take that
Right.
format and put it into Kirby, that would be kind of real fire,
Yeah, that would be cool, man. That would be awesome. And yeah, I think that's about it for this episode. Um, this has been a short episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed the topics that we kind of went over today. Um, we're looking forward to getting on the next episode with all of our co-hosts on there. So definitely hope you stay around for that. And once again, we really appreciate you guys sticking around and listening to this. So have a good rest of your day and stay tuned.